Maybe he had really bad halitosis, and he was just like, no.
I have no idea. Whenever podcast episode 78. Uh-huh. I have managed to pack my morning as tightly as I could, and I don't know why I did it to myself.
Why? What did you do?
I started prepping a video series thing because I never put all my Fortnite loadouts into like one video. Because I always kind of sort of saw that series as open-ended or eligible for like a remake, but they're currently changing all the heroes in the game, so I'm thinking, well, I'm not making any videos about heroes if they're all going to change.
Which is telling me you're offline.
What?
Yeah, it was telling me you were offline and saying, check out this talk show and podcast thing from 17 seconds ago.
Yeah, it
Like,
takes
what?
a second sometimes.
It's working
And
now.
so I figured, well, if they're going to change them all anyway, I'm just going to do the compilation video that I always wanted to. Just going to immortalize them. Going to lock it in. And turns out I've made a lot of loadout videos. I think I've got a list of 20 videos right now. And organizing that became quite a thing. So, because, you know, I don't want one 4-hour video on Fortnite loadouts. I think I could probably get 3 worthwhile videos out of those, and maybe 4 depending on how
long videos?
What?
3 like hour-long videos?
I think the longest one is a soldier's loadout at like half an hour. I don't know the total run time, but it might be like 5 hours end to end. Something like that. It's not short. These are some of the talkier videos on my channel.
You talkie?
No.
No.
Only when I got something to say. And those videos are exactly that. We have nobody in chat. I don't know what's going on today.
I don't, yeah, what is that? Not
I
even
tagged
the
on
usual.
Discord. There's always someone around by now. What's going on?
Are they all camping? Every single last one of them is camping right now.
Yeah, everybody's camping today. It is Memorial Day.
It is.
It's funny, my dad went to like, we were at a fire, Dad was going to text sister like, Happy Memorial Day, and he's like, wait, that doesn't sound right. wait, I don't think that's how you should, hold on.
No,
So
I think Happy Memorial Day is still an accurate thing, because Memorial Day is about like celebrating and remembering the lives.
Sure.
I think, I don't know about everyone, but I don't know very many people who are like, yeah, when I die, I want you to be sad as fuck. I want, like, as long as you remember what you're celebrating for, I think it's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pedal to the metal on celebration. I never need an excuse. I like our hibachi situation where I just wanted to go, and it kind of sort of ended up lining up as like an early SIG birthday, but no, I just wanted to go. We didn't need an excuse. I'm like, let's just go have some fun, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh.
No,
It was my birthday on Saturday. Thank you, honey.
that was actually exactly what I was about to bring up. Was your birthday was just the other day.
3/4 of a husband reveal.
Oh yeah, I've still never seen his face. He's
we
like
saw him
Wilson
for like 2 seconds in the car one time.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was it.
Just so I could prove that I wasn't driving, so that Twitch wouldn't ban us.
Oh, I forgot that I did this. Last night I got all hell-bent on... So, for a long time, whenever anybody's recommended, like, asked about, like, a movie or show suggestion, I'll write quite a list. And with movies, it's the same thing, where I have, like, a list of 82 or 84 of my top picks. But I never had one for TV shows. And I don't really like that, because you spend all this time watching a show, and then for me, I just sort of forget. And,
I do that too, and just kind of space out. They're like, what's your favorite episode? And I'm like, And unless I watch the show again and then I'm like, oh yeah, I know what happens next. And I do the same thing with books. I am
Oh, you
notorious for
froze.
doing it
There you
with
go.
books. I'll be like, yeah, no, I've never read that. And then I'll start reading it and I'm like, oh, I
I read
have read
this.
this.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
And that's sort of what happened here. And there's shows like Criminal Minds and The Office, which were surprisingly low when I started typing these out. I was like, how the hell did I not open with that? These are like 10 season long
Your
shows
shows.
here.
Yeah.
And I'm averaging on that one. And I just forgot about them. So,
Did you ever watch? Did you ever watch the show Deadwood?
no.
You should.
I think it's been on my list forever, but
Yeah.
this is the
You really should.
weirdest like Black Mirror episode podcast we've ever done. Do we really have 4 people hanging out? I'm not usually one to fixate, but it's like
No, it's just 17 for me.
there's almost
Yeah, it's
always more in chat. What's everybody? Maybe everybody's out celebrating having a barbecue. If so, then I'm jealous. I want to go have a barbecue. Actually, no, Dad's grilling tonight, so we are gonna have
I
that.
had
I
a
get to go to
barbecue
work.
for my birthday.
Ooh.
It was good. Way more people than I thought it was gonna be. So, it was, my birthday is also Clark's birthday. So I planned a little birthday party for him, got a jumper. We were just gonna grill hot dogs and hamburgers. I invited our close family friends. They have 3 kids. And then I gave him 4 invitations to invite kids from his class. He only invited 1. Totally fine with me, right? Well, because I
Perfect.
wanted to keep it small, because it
Right.
is COVID. We're fully vaccinated, which is the only reason I was doing it at all. But like, keep it small. And
Alright.
then I like told the neighbors they could come because we have like a communal yard. So we each have patios, but then there's this big field that's just kind of our communal yard. I'm not gonna have like another 5-year-old see the jumper in the communal yard and then
You're like,
tell them
oh
like,
no, you weren't
no,
invited.
you can't play.
Yeah.
So we ended up having like a dozen to 20 kids come and like
Oh boy.
play, and then like all the grown-ups hanging out. I mean, we had a shit ton of food because I always overbuy anyways. But I was like, I went from being like, oh no, it's gonna be this little tiny barbecue. I only rented 10 chairs because I was like, oh no, there's only gonna be like 4 families there. Each adult needs a chair. And then
It's like
just
10 families.
yeah, no, it was. And like,
Yeah.
I'm not complaining because as far as I know, all of my neighbors except for one is fully vaccinated.
hmm
And that one is a stay-at-home mom who only sees the other moms in the neighborhood.
So she's
So,
got herd immunity essentially.
right, right. It was a little overwhelming, but it was also I got a little emotional because it's been so long since I've seen or heard that many kids getting to play together.
hmm
And I think it's been a while for them too, because they played for hours. Normally, with birthday parties, I see the kids play for like 2 hours on the jumper. They get bored of the jumper, they ask for cake, and then like they're
Yeah.
crashing on the ground eating their pinata candy. But these kids played for like 6 fucking hours. And then finally it was starting to get dark and I was like, we gotta take the jumper down. And they were like, so it was cute. It was fun.
Sure you can't rent it for another day?
You what?
Yeah. All the kids are like, you sure you can't keep it for another day?
Right. We can't have it for longer.
I've wanted to do like a block party sort of thing. I brought it up to Sig and everybody in the household multiple times now. But I want to just set up some tables and chairs, maybe even like a fire, and just invite a bunch of houses and have, I guess, I don't know, a potluck or whatever, and
Right.
see what happens.
I didn't realize how awesome my neighbors were until this party, because one of the neighbors drove her truck to help us pick up the jumper because it wasn't a delivery. Those are really expensive to get it delivered for
What is
no
a
reason.
jumper?
But to rent it on base has like rentals. It was like $75 instead of $200.
Yeah,
Is a jumper a
And,
trampoline?
and to have a friend there that was willing to drive and pick it up.
Yeah. No, so a jumper is so that's what I'm calling like a bounce house,
Oh,
but it
okay.
wasn't a bounce house. It was a pirate ship. You know what? Let me post this to chat. Give me a
Jaffy, are you
second.
gonna be no camera today?
I don't have a camera, but you still haven't sent it to me.
Jesus.
You still haven't sent
Oh
it
my
to me.
goodness. What is
Send me
this
the
image?
camera.
I'm just gonna start enabling images until you. Oh, okay. Donna is now labeled as Chriselle with a picture of Jaffy and a dog. Boy, that is a combination of. There we go. Just give that to Jaffy.
Where is the picture?
I knew it. As soon as I started eating my pizza, I was like, I feel like I'm forgetting something. And here I am, one-handing this renaming operation.
Mhm.
Trying not to get pizza grease on the equipment.
Yeah, I get the
Sounds
joy
way
of
worse than it is, but
I get the
that
joy of going into work tonight and it being a Monday, so we already don't have a dishwasher on Mondays because he works 6 days a week. So it's going to be just me and one other guy instead of the normal like 2 guys and a dishwasher or 3 guys and a dishwasher. So that's going to be fun. And I don't know what to expect with it being Memorial Day, whether or not it's going to be stupidly busy or just flat dead the whole time. But I'm
Yeah,
sure it'll
it's
be
really
one or the other.
should be like that.
Yeah.
because I'd imagine Memorial Day is big about barbecues and stuff, but then again,
I got
yeah,
a
I don't know.
question.
What?
Okay.
What is Memorial Day?
So in our country, maybe not in Canada, we've had like a lot of wars.
Sure.
So we just have
Maybe
a
not
day
in
set
Canada.
aside to remember a lot of those people
Oh,
who,
like Remembrance Day.
yeah, kind of.
Like Remembrance Day.
Yes,
is
it's
that?
exactly. It's a Remembrance Day, but it's called Memorial Day here.
Oh, do you guys not have Remembrance Day?
No, that's Remembrance
Oh,
Day is Memorial Day.
I got you. Okay, yeah.
It's just remembering and honoring the men and women who died in the U.S. military. So,
Got you. Got you.
and it's always the last Monday of May.
I understand. Yes, ours is on November 11th.
Mm.
Whoa. It's
That
funny how.
is
Awesome.
definitely a pirate ship.
Oh yeah, let me see.
That's why I was calling it a jumper and not a jump house.
Am I showing
Yes,
this?
that's,
because
there's no
it's a
house there.
You can show it. There's
Oh.
no kids in it.
I was gonna say it's weird in chat whenever somebody from Minnesota calls out like specific places that I know. That looks awesome, actually. Wow.
Right. And so you can kind of see too that like the communal yard, all
Oh, yeah.
our faces, all our houses, the backyard, the back of it faces
Yeah, one
in.
big shared backyard.
Right. Which at first when I moved in, I was like, oh, I don't like that. I wish I had a fenced in backyard. But we live on a cul-de-sac. So it's actually kind of fucking awesome. Oh, and like I was saying, I didn't realize how awesome my neighbors were until we had this barbecue. Because the one neighbor helped us go get the jumper. Another neighbor helped us unload it and load it.
Mhm.
My neighbor whose house is attached to mine, um, just put her table and chairs that she had outside, and another neighbor just put her like pop-up shade thing just right outside our back. And
Yeah.
so like I came out of my house after taking a shower when I got home from picking up the cakes and stuff, and there's just all this stuff, and I'm like, where did this come
You
from?
people added to my party?
Right, and like they didn't even say anything to me. Like they
Yeah.
didn't send anything in the group chat. Like my immediate next door neighbor, when she finally came over, was like, "Oh yeah, I brought my table and chairs over," and I was like, I was wondering where those came from.
Oh, well, we figured we'd help out.
We had a
Yeah.
similar thing with our neighbors where Dad and I just walked over to see what they were doing because they had a big pile of rocks in the driveway and they'd cleared out a whole space in their yard, filled it with sand, and were now moving big stones. And we're like, what is going on here? They're making a patio, but it's weird because we live in a cul-de-sac now where we have all these neighbors where it's a lot more communal. Like we're all facing
Yeah.
each other.
Okay, I got
And-
like a couple questions.
All right.
Okay.
What's
Shoot.
it cul-de-sac?
Okay, my very first question is, who cuts the backyard in your house, Rosa? Like, how does that work? Because it's like a shared backyard. Who
The
cuts the grass?
housing company. Because
Okay.
so we're all rentals because it's on base.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
This is on the military base, so it's technically rentals.
Nice.
And so it's military housing. So they come through with the riding mower,
That's sweet.
which is also nice because now I don't have a lawn to mow.
Nice. Second question is, what is a cul-de-sac?
The
Picture
end
a
of the
It
road.
is
spoon,
um
and
it's
then
a
there's a bunch
dead
of
end
houses around
street.
it.
It's a small dead end street.
Okay. Gotcha.
Which is it makes sense for areas like where we live, because it's not flat and straight.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The border of our neighborhood is literally cut out by a river, so you get these weird loops and curves. So
Yeah, I love my cul-de-sac because it's kind of away from the other housing. So like think of suburban hell, and that's what military housing looks like because all the houses look the same. There's like 4 different layouts, sometimes flipped.
mhm.
There you go,
Yeah,
Jaffy.
that's a
That's a cul-de-sac.
Thank you. Thank you.
um, but I love it. I ended up loving it.
I like it too. And you lose all the through traffic because the only person
Yes.
who's swinging by that's like not a guest or a friend of one of the people living there is somebody who's completely lost, and that just
I've-
doesn't really happen often.
So where I live, we
Right.
call that a bay. I don't know why, but that's what we
Oh.
call that, is a bay.
I don't know why we call
Do
it
you live
cul-de-sac. It
inland?
seems a
Because
little
the
more.
bay here is like the water.
Oh, well, we also have bays that are called water, but we call that a bay.
I wouldn't
And
mind
then
just making it more formal to just call it a spoon.
Having the Florida keys and having your keys in your pocket. You know?
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of nice to have all the neighbors because we have a median in the middle too, which is funny because it's technically owned by the city, but we're starting to care a little less, and we're talking about putting like a fire pit in the middle of it with chairs or something. And it's like, what are they gonna do?
I mean, as long as the whole neighborhood is down, unless
Yeah.
someone complains about it, the city will just be like, they live there.
And that's the thing I say is like, even if it's managed by the city and everything, who is it affecting other than the 10 people circling it? I mean, it's not really,
Yeah.
you know.
So I'm newer to the neighborhood, because we just moved here in January,
Mhm.
and some of the neighbors were sharing with me that there's a housing guy that used to come through and would try to enforce these like really strict rules that housing had of like you can't have stuff outside of your house for too long. Just like was really aggressive about it. And they were telling me about how they basically scared him away because he was so aggressive about it that they got aggressive back. And he just like leaves us alone now, unless something's like really trashy. But he
Yeah.
was coming at people for having like
Like the
a
most
kid's
minor
little play
HOA
set.
stuff?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
HOA
understand
being
sometimes
homeowners
things
association.
get junky, but like no.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't remember his name, but somebody might remember it. But I got down this rabbit hole of a really long compilation from a YouTuber who had like a Karen YouTube series where he
know
just
who you're
had a
talking
neighbor that just crossed every line. You know,
I've seen a few of those.
notable exceptions were like yelling at him about the YouTube channel, getting mad that he was making videos about her, which only gave him more content to make videos on, and then at one
Mhm.
point just inviting herself into his home and waiting on the couch, drinking his water bottle, waiting for
Yes,
him.
I saw. Yeah, I
We
read
definitely have
about
talked
that.
about
I
this
didn't-
before.
The YouTuber's name is Scrubs.
There it
and
is,
it is
yeah.
actually Karen the Saga. And
Yep,
it's a
and it's
whole
a
series of
whole-
videos. All
He
about
put them all in one video, and I watched through the whole thing while I was making
It's
videos one day.
That's a 3-hour, 13-minute video.
Oh my God.
1.25 helps a lot because he rambles, but
Yeah.
and they're worth it in my opinion. And the thing is, like, he's not just clickbaiting the title. Like, she does some nutty stuff, and
Mm.
he got a new one. I don't know how recent this video was, but I watched it. He has a neighbor who moved in like recently and then sent out like a memo to everybody for expectations she had for the neighborhood. And I was like, no, no, that is so
Oh, that's-
backwards. Oh my goodness. She didn't want loud noises or this and that. She had a whole list of demands. And yeah, he got involved with his neighbor who has a crazy loud car that he drives to work every day. But it's like a 30-second inconvenience, you know?
Hey,
Yeah.
And it was, you know, you can
as long
watch.
as you don't sit there revving, like it's a. I've seen that happen before in my old neighborhood. You know, there's a group Facebook or whatever. It was a bigger neighborhood. Um, People complaining about like loud cars and like motorcycles, and I'm like, you realize you live in military housing. Some of these are like younger dudes with a steady paycheck, so they're like, I'm
Straight out
gonna
of high
get this
school.
jacked up truck, like I'm gonna ride this motorcycle. If they're not sitting there like revving on purpose to make extra noise, if they're just driving by your house, like,
Yeah.
no. And they're like, well, it's like, it's like 5 in the morning. And I'm like, it's military. They're going to work.
Everyone's awake at 5 in the morning there anyway.
I get, but oh, my kid, get a fucking white noise machine or move off base.
That was
Like,
something
Yeah.
he brought up too, was that he goes to work because his neighbor, he lives in Las Vegas, so pretty much everybody on the block is doing well for themselves, and
Right.
so he owns his own company. The neighbor does, and he only works until like 10:30 to 4 or something like that. So it's not even like it's early in the AMs. It's 10:30. If that noise is bothering you, then
Middle of the day leaving and middle of the day
right,
coming
it's just
back.
the
like,
car.
just a car, like in and
Yeah.
out of the driveway. And
I think the like most caring thing I've ever done about noise in the neighborhood is it was like midnight and there were kids like they were like teenagers screaming, laughing, playing. They were skateboarding right outside. And I just politely
take it
was
down
like,
the street.
"Hey, me and my baby," because it was when Clark was a baby. I was like, "Me and my baby are trying to sleep. Like skateboarding, super cool, but could you like take it like the volume down a notch?" And they were like, "Oh yeah." And then they were like, "Oh, your tattoo's really sweet." Like
Yeah.
like you like don't you could be a Karen without being a Karen.
it turns out our neighborhood was apparently improved like right around when we moved in, because the neighbor next to us was apparently a very non-chatty guy who just never made eye contact and ignored all social encounters. And
That's me. That's me as a
Unfortunate when
neighbor.
the neighbor's friendly and then there's one that's just like
like it was beyond antisocial to the extent where it was like almost rude, you know, like never waving
Don't
back
knock on my
or
door.
stink eye if you tried and stuff like that. And then they got replaced by this lovely family. They got like a pregnant wife, dad, you know, a couple of kids, and I'm like,
right.
they're always out biking or chalk on the street. I'm like, this is lovely. It's just fun. You can just peer out on a nice day and there's children laughing. There's a bunch of kids on our block, which is kind of fun. They're just biking and doing laps around the median.
It makes the neighborhood nice, and I feel like it kind of it almost lowers the chance of a Karen because it's not like a retired couple like bitching about the noise. Like it's kids knocking on your door. Can you come out and play? Like
For us, we got the knock on the door with a Mayflower. They were handing
Yep,
out
that was
flowers
actually
to all the
very
neighbors.
adorable. I answered the door to that one. I was totally blown away. I thought they were coming up to like sell Girl Scout cookies or something like that, maybe. And I was just gonna at least answer the door so they weren't waiting for someone.
right.
And I opened the door and this tiny little adorable blonde-headed girl is just like, "Happy May Day!" and hands me a flower, and I was like,
Did you die of cute? I think.
yeah, I didn't know what to do for a minute. But yeah, it was very adorable. Now growing up, we had a neighbor that was the neighborhood watch kind of lady that was always like, "Oh, your kids were doing this," or "Oh, you shouldn't have that just sitting in your yard," or "Oh, you can't let them build a skateboard ramp back there," or whatever. And it's like, my parents had 3 sons. Like, we were boys just having friends over and doing boy stuff out in the yard, fighting on the trampoline and, being noisy and just annoying all day long. That was what it was. The rest of the neighborhood was basically older people. Like, we didn't have many kids our age in the neighborhood, We spent a lot of time going to the neighborhood across the highway and bringing friends back from there and stuff. But yeah, the neighbor lady was always in our business, always like looking over the edge of the fence at us, like, giving us a stink eye and shit. And it was just like, all right, lady, go on, very much minding our business all the time. And she complained multiple times as we got into our teenage years and stuff and got cars and stuff about like, oh, you got 3 or 4 cars in your yard. And it's like, yeah, we got a handful of people here. What,
Yeah,
I mean, it's not
we
like
have
we
cars
bought
in the
6
yard.
cars for the one of us,
Right. Got
And
cars in
they
the yard
acted like,
because
yeah,
there are cars.
they acted like they were yard ornaments or something. We drove all of them. It wasn't like they were just sitting there,
Right.
and shit like that. And then they, I guess, finally retired or whatever, and they bought an RV, like a big, like the tour bus, kind of like you see a star driving have a driver in a tour bus kind of thing.
Yeah.
They bought one of those and parked it in their yard between us, like along the fence line, so that it was basically like a giant bus wall between their house and
Right.
ours.
It's defense. Yeah.
And we thought that was the most funny shit ever, because it was just like, you just spent years complaining about having to look at our stuff or whatever, and now you got this giant atrocity in the middle between our houses. It was like, you know what? Keep it. I don't want to see you anyway. It's
Right.
fine.
My dad
we
got
never
that way
cared.
with the bushes in the backyard because our neighbors had kind of an ugly backyard with a boat that never moved and was sinking into the ground. And they trimmed the hedges one time, and he was like, "What the fuck? Why would you remove that barrier?"
We needed that.
Like, what? So
Mhm.
they let it rise every time. Yeah, Jaffy doesn't want to have a camera. He's well, actually he does. We just need to mail him one. And I'm telling you, like, it would take
Literally 2 minutes.
no. I mean, the drive alone is 8. You're asking for a lot
Okay.
here.
Okay, so it would
Yeah.
take 16
It would
minutes.
it would
At this point,
literally take
buy one
tens
on
of minutes.
Amazon and send it to him. Like.
It would
Jeff, you wanna
take
buy
tens
this
of
one?
minutes.
It's a pretty good 1080p camera. You can get them for like $100.
Oh yeah.
See, I could easily afford a camera, but like the whole point of this is because Beast said he had a spare camera he could just give me.
I
Like,
do. It's not that one.
You did say that.
I swear to God, Jeff.
But the quality is shitty, and you're beautiful, so I think we should do the
I-
bigger one. But I kind of want to
I-
get some of my
no.
money back on this. $50, I'll mail it. How about that, huh?
I will send you $50 right now. Don't even fucking at me.
I mean,
You
I
don't
am
have
adding
to
you right now. Let's do 70.
You can't up the price. You're a terrible negotiator.
Also, the server bill is like 4 months behind. I think. I don't even know anymore.
It'll be fine.
Free, take it or leave it.
It kind of is. To those who don't know, we have like a $130 Minecraft server monthly, and there's a
Jesus
few hands
Christ.
in that pot. So I think Jaffy's
Yeah.
technically one of them, but I don't worry about it. There's a couple people.
I'm technically one of them.
Yeah, it's covered by Patreon. Like I think Akova upped his a big amount and is it's settled, so I don't really worry about it. But no, this is like the second time. Well, actually, no, this is the other direction because now I'm selling. But Ben's, to the computer nerds out here, you'll know this. But Ben's offered me his old 2080 Super because he has a new computer on the way for like at
Ooh.
cost what he paid for it, which is like $720.
Ooh.
For those who are not a massive nerd, a 2080 Super is not the latest card or anything, but it's still going for on the cheap end, $1,400 used. Like the cheapest you can get them right now is double what it should cost.
It's a lot of money.
Oh no,
could
I was
sell my
ready,
six-
Mateo. Midstream, I'm like, Ben's PayPal, I'll send you an address right now. Like
Right.
PayPal or card, what are we doing? I will buy this now because it's still a 30% performance boost over my 1080, and it's got the newer NVIDIA encoder, which means my stream will be smoother and just better. I'm really interested in that, but I guess he does have to have a graphics card in the meantime, so I'm waiting for his computer to get. Now I want his computer to get there as much as he does. And he bought like a pre-built. I don't want to make something up, but he's got a good card in there. I don't remember what he said was in it. Either way, that was very exciting for me because,
Pretty sure it was a 3080 or 3090.
yeah, I don't know. It's funny how
Jesus Christ.
if card availability is what it or is what it should be, then 700 for a 2080 Super is stupid. Just get a 3080, but you
Right.
can't get anything right now. Every card is just super expensive. They can't
You have
print-
to like hunt it.
Oh,
you
it's
know?
bad.
You can't even hunt. Like I've been hunting cards, and literally within a second of them coming in stock,
Mhm.
they're gone. So like you have to pay scalper prices, or you're not getting one.
It
Well,
like lost $500
also
in 5 minutes. I'm in. How'd that
that's also
happen?
the type of person Benz is he'd be like, screw it, I'll pay the scalper prices.
That's what he fucking
That is
did.
exactly how Ben's is, yeah.
He was complaining about one of his graphics cards not working or something, which apparently is the one I'm buying, but he stopped complaining. I should double check on that. But something about his computer was like crashing every time he launched a game. So the motherfucker buys a whole PC just on the spot. He was sick of troubleshooting. I'm like, dude, what? I should double check, by the way, because I don't remember. Because I think Ben's got like a 3070 or something. I don't remember what he was using, but it was crashing every time. I don't know. I'll double check before I actually buy his card. But yeah, I'm still interested because a 1080 still works. It performs impressively well for a 5-year-old card. But I am scratching for an upgrade. I wanted to get a 3090 when they first came out, but I think we all know how that went. Got robbed, his wallet was taken, and his grad money was in it. Oh, that's not fun at all. At least they left a wallet. You don't want to replace something nice like that. That's not good.
Oh, do I have a story for you guys that reminded me? My phone got stolen. I was at Target, and don't worry, there's a happy ending. My phone got stolen while I was at Target. They turned it off immediately so I couldn't track it, right? Because I have an iPhone. You just track it. And I was like, fuck. I was so pissed. I was so upset. It was the day before my birthday. I was like, fuck everyone. Oh, now Ben's comes in. Thanks, Ben's. So I got home and I was like, well, we got to go to the store and get a new one. I have to have a phone because the party's tomorrow. Like I have to be able to call the jumper place. Like I have to
Things to do.
I have to contact. So I'm sitting here like looking up where the closest AT&T is on my computer because don't have a phone. And I get a ping on my iPad that my phone got turned on. I will never make fun of Apple Maps again because it gave me an exact pinpoint address.
Not even an IP, a fucking address.
An address. So I called up the police and I was like, what do I have to do to go get my phone? And they're like, oh, we could give you a standby, like to keep the peace while you go ask for it. And I was like, cool, let's do it. So I go to this house and the cops are taking forever. So I'm basically sitting here scoping this house for like 30, 45 minutes. And at some point, 2 women come out. And 2 women and a baby come out. So I was like, I'm going to go talk to them. And my husband was like, I defer to you on these kind of things. And I was like, I'm going to go talk to them. So I go out and I walk up and I was like, oh, excuse me, ladies. Can I talk to you for a second? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, so I was at Target earlier and someone stole my phone. Says it's here. I'd like it back. And the one lady was like, I don't even live here. Like, don't fucking look at me. Like, and then the lady with the baby was like, oh, I don't know. I have to go ask. And started walking up the driveway. Well, like, as she was walking up the driveway to, like, go ask her husband, the cop finally rolled up.
Oh, nice.
So the cop's car is, like, behind me, and the cop gets out, and he's, like, this 6-foot-tall dude, and he's, like, he goes and stands behind me. I feel like I have a bodyguard. I guess essentially I did. And they see the cop roll up and she like quickly comes back down the driveway and goes into her car and she's like, oh yeah, we found this at Target. Went from being like, oh, I don't know, to being like, we found this.
Wait, how did you lose it though? Was it on you? I'm
Huh?
curious. Just detail.
I set it down for a
Oh,
second.
don't
It
do
was
that.
my fault. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't your fault. Shitty people shouldn't take things that aren't theirs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, she's like, "Oh, it's right here. Oh, we returned lost phones all the time and whatnot." And I was like, "Oh," and she was like, "Oh, it doesn't turn on. I think it's dead." Turn it on. 65%. I know my
Mhm.
phone wasn't dead. I'm
iPhone
really
batteries
good.
last forever.
They do. And it also like had a 15-minute wait because that means that they put the password in wrong 3 times. They were
Ha
trying to
ha ha.
fucking
Yeah.
get into it. And
Many
yeah.
many years ago, I was with my friend Robert. This is back when I guess he had really just started driving because he was still driving his parents' car, and he had a flip phone, like the old school flip phone that weighed like 5 pounds. It was like, had that shape to it like
The
this, and
brick.
had the
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
bottom that flipped out. But yeah, he had it sitting in the console of the car, like where the emergency brake is. And we're at this guy's house there to talk to someone else that was visiting that guy. And the guy was like, "Oh man, you do car stereo stuff," because we tooled around in his yard a lot doing stuff with car stereo and all that. And he was like, "Let me listen to your stereo in your car," blah blah blah. And sat down in the car, and Robert let him listen to the radio and everything for a little bit, and then
Right.
we were all getting ready to leave, and we started driving away, and Robert picked up his phone to call his mom to ask her something, and the phone wouldn't cut on. And he was like, "What the hell?" You know? And he looks down at the phone finally and realizes the label on the front of it was like an Alltel label instead of like a Verizon label or something.
Mm.
His exact same phone, just a different label on it. And he's like, "This isn't my fucking phone." So we turned around and drove right back to that house and walked up there and was like, "Hey, what happened here? Did one of you pick up my phone on accident or whatever?" And he's like, "I don't know anything about that, and this, that, and the other." And Robert had me call from my phone, and his phone rang in the other dude's pocket.
Right.
And it was just like, "You dumb
course
son of a
it did.
bitch." Like, so we got his phone back and everything and ended up not having to call the cops or any of that, but we totally absolutely were going to if it came to that. But the
Right.
dude actually like had the gall like to just be like, "Oh, well, I'll just swap these phones and no one will know."
I was,
Right. We got a
I
lot
was
of happy
telling.
endings to these phone stories, but even I have one that ended well. Wow. But I don't know. I grew up in a school. I went to a high school, which was shady. It was yeah. And we were in math class one time, and this girl went to the bathroom or something and left her phone, and which is a shock in and of itself. And this dude behind me who, based on what I understand him to take part in his free time, I don't think he was kidding when he was like, "Yo, pass me that phone." And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Yo, give me that iPhone." I'm like, "No." So I slipped it in my pocket
No.
until she got back. I'm like, "What the fuck? You're literally about to just jack her phone. You're sitting right next to her. Like, how is anybody like?"
Kind of not look at you at all.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pretend I know what he's up to in his free time, but I'm pretty sure flipping phones was a thing he did. Like, holy shit.
See, I don't even understand why they try to steal my phone. It's an iPhone, right? It's iPhone 12. You can brick
Yeah.
it remotely.
Yeah, those are well known for being difficult on the person stealing them, for
Right.
giving away location and for just being unlocked. You can't unlock them and being
Right.
unusable if the owner decides to say, "Yeah, fuck that thing."
Reminds me of that.
Did-
that
Nuke
Right.
it.
And my whole story happened within 2 hours.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! I
Like,
didn't quite piece that
oh,
together. Oh man.
yeah, I was on top of shit. I
Mm.
was not waiting.
I guess that
The
figures
old-
with the battery percent and everything.
Yeah.
The old iPhones, like the I don't know, 6s and 7s, you could just factory setting by holding like buttons for a certain amount of time and releasing them at a certain amount of time.
Yep.
And it was
Oh,
obviously Apple fixed that, but people would steal those consistently and sell those. It was just fucking ridiculously easy to factory reset a phone and just
hmm
It reminds me of that court case, right, where they had the suspected terrorist and Apple just
Yeah.
would not let them in. And the fact that the freaking government had to take that as far into court as they did just shows that, like, they couldn't get in. Like, the freaking password, we don't know it. And, so I don't know.
Yeah, because now with iPhones or all Apple products, if you do that, like, factory reset, when you go to set it up again, you still have to have the last Apple ID and password.
Yep.
Because
that's part of the problem my mom has. Because she never remembers her Apple ID and password.
The sad part about Mateo's case is he said grad money, so that's 500 in cash, and the police won't help you unless it's 5,000. So that's a thing in America, by the way. Theft is legal financially up until about $5,000, or else nobody will really lift a finger.
It's not legal, but
it is, because nobody's gonna help you.
It's not going to be pursued.
It's a federal crime until then, I think.
It's the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony.
Right.
It's
so
is $1,000 total, I think.
Like
$1,200. What counts as grand theft? Because I looked it up. Because I was like, if these fuckers don't give it back to me, I'm gonna pull the video from Target. I'm gonna see them getting it. I have their address. I'm gonna have their asses prosecuted. It's grand theft. It's a fucking felony. Goodbye, bitches.
And I'm only saying this about Mateo because I've had like 350 stolen from me, and you're not gonna get any help.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially not cash. There's no way they can trace that or prove that or anything.
And I'm not being a dick. I'm just saying I have been down the road you'll probably want to go down, and it's not gonna go anywhere.
Do you know the YouTube channel Gas Station Encounters?
Nope.
The guy, like, basically he's in his early 20s or whatever, and he's running a gas station, and from the security videos, like, he says, oh, look at this person stealing, and he catches people stealing from his gas station all the time and calls them fuck out on it. He'll charge people at the register for stuff that they have in their pocket and won't tell them that that's what he's doing until they go, why is it $19? It's supposed to be 10 or some dumb shit like that. But it's where the term, like, she gone, that's where that comes from. It's from him. One of his Gas Station Encounters videos was actually a Good Samaritan video. It shows some guy, like construction worker or whatever, like walking to the back of the store, going to the cooler for something, and thumbing through money in his hand, and money just falls out of the packet in his hand onto the floor. And about 20 minutes goes by before some girl walks up and goes, hey, there was a bunch of money on the floor back there, and gives it to the guy at the register. And he uses that he uses his footage and everything to figure out who it was and contacts the guy and tells him, hey, someone returned a bunch of your money or whatever. And it was a hugely, like, what the hell, $500 worth of cash or something like that. And the girl had just found it on the floor and just like, wow, what the hell, and gave it to the register guy. But yeah.
I was walking at the mall one time and found a $10 bill on the ground, but I didn't pick it up because with the amount of people around, there's no way that $10 bill was older than 30 seconds. I mean, like, either this just dropped or everybody at the mall isn't
Nobody
interested
looks
in
at the
$10
floor.
on the ground. And I'm the kind of person where I'm like, that's not my money, and provided the circumstance, I'm like, this had to have just dropped out of somebody's pocket. I mean, if I was in the park and there was nobody around, I'd be like, all right, fuck it, $10, cool. But I was in a crowd of people, so I'm like, okay, somebody just lost this. So I just kept moving, and that was my whole story. That was my whole thing. I didn't pick it up because it was real. Someone else would have already picked it up. Okay, well, I mean, that's kind of it. I figured, whatever. But yeah, no.
When we were kids,
weird.
My older brother was the nosy type. Like, he'd just see an empty cigarette pack on the ground, like somebody littered, and he'd pick it up and be like, "Is there cigarettes in there?" Whatever. We were 10, and he picked up a cigarette pack on the walk to Kmart one time, and it had a $50 bill tucked into the front of the cellophane.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that's a big score for a kid.
Yeah, it
Right.
was a huge thing. But I mean, it was like we couldn't be like, "Whose is this?" Because there's nobody, you know.
Right.
But
And I
yeah, it
remember
was
as a kid, I went on a walk and found just a $1 bill out in the grass. That was the best day that summer. That was,
yeah,
and it's amazing the perspective because from as a child with zero income besides birthday money, a
Right.
buck is like that's a whole ass dollar I didn't have before. I mean,
and
yeah.
I thinking about it, like it it's different now than it was back then because more often back then you were walking around with cash in your pocket. You
Hmm.
know, 20 years ago, I always had cash on me. Nowadays, I rarely, if ever, have cash. So if I were to like lose my wallet or whatever, somebody would
You just
have
can't
to
pull your card.
actively
Yeah.
be trying to, use my debit card or whatever to steal from me.
And that
You know, they'd
usually
look through my
doesn't.
wallet and be like, well, "There's a bunch of receipts in here. What the hell?" And that's
My
it. You
nanny
know.
still prefers to use cash, and it drives me crazy because she gives me cash all the time, and I'm like,
Mhm.
Nani, I don't want cash. I have like
I had
Yeah,
that.
that
this
like
just
so
means I have to go to the bank now.
right, because I'll
Yeah.
carry like $20 max in cash on me. And now I have like, because she'll be like, oh, let me pay for dinner and like give me like $40 or, and I'm like, stop. How much do I have? Ben's, wouldn't you like to know?
I can actually
There's
share a
somebody
number
at the front
because
door.
I had the same thing with cash where I never spend cash, and
Hmm.
I
I
think
went
it's your
like a
brain.
couple of years of birthday cash, graduation cash, earning a thing from a study I did, and then it got to the point where I had like $800 in my wallet, and I'm like, because I never used cash for
Right.
years, and my mom is like, "You have how much? We need to go to the bank. You
Yeah.
can't be going out anymore with
You
$800
Right.
just
in
be
your wallet." I'm
wandering
like, ugh.
around with that much money for no reason.
Like,
Yeah.
fine, fine. She's right. She's right. And so, but I'm the same way because I would never even use cash on
Oh, yeah.
if I had an option because sticking a debit card in the little reader is way easier than waiting for them to count out the coins.
I split a hotel room with my little brother and his wife. It was the Disneyland hotel, so it was expensive. We were there for a couple days. So he gave me, his portion of the room. He gave me like $300 in cash. It took me like 2 years to go through that cash because I was too lazy to go, put it in the bank. And then I just didn't use cash very often.
Yeah.
And so it literally took me like 2 years to work through all that cash.
Yeah. Well, one of my coworkers, like he didn't have his wallet with him at work one night and wanted a pack of cigarettes and a Red Bull or whatever from the gas
Mhm.
station next door. And I was like, "Oh, well, I'll run over there and pick that up for you with my debit card and you can just pay me back. No big deal." You know. So I did that and then he paid me back cash and I walked around with that cash in my pocket for I don't frickin' know how long now
Right.
and just never needed it, so it's just been in my wallet forever. And I finally found a way to spend it by giving it to Beast's mom for something she paid for.
Stemley called it. Most cashiers don't even know what cash is anymore, especially after
Yeah.
COVID times. You hand them bills and they're like, "Oh, fuck, okay."
I need my manager. 1 second.
It's
you know.
risky because of the virus. It's time consuming because it's not automatic like the debit is. Again, I
Right.
eat at the mall a lot where there'll be a you go on a Sunday or a Saturday. I hope you're not hungry now, because that line's gonna be long. And shoot, I mean, debit or credit moves things along quite a bit quicker, and it's instant, and nobody miscounts. I once got an extra dollar from Subway and never said a word. That was my big
But you
heist.
wouldn't you wouldn't believe the number of cashiers I've come across in my day that didn't know how to count. Like you'd hand them a $20 bill for a $16 purchase, and then you go, "Oh
Mhm.
wait," and handed them another dollar to make it 21, so you
So
could
that
get
you
a
get a
$5
five.
bill back.
Hmm.
And they look like you just fucking rocked their world. It's like,
That would rock
dude,
my
it's
world.
simple math.
I
It is simple, but my
Simple
brain
math.
doesn't work like that. I hear you, Jaffy. I ran we were just signed up for a hot dog stand one time with friends of mine because they were doing a thing, and I was the one counting the cash, and on the spot, getting handed all these bills for various different prices, I screwed up a few times. I was like, this is not how my brain works. I had trouble with it. And I do not consider myself bad at math, but on the spot with somebody standing there waiting for their change, I was like, oh, fuck, I'm screwing up left and right. And
Kid, I'm
Full-time
using a
job
calculator.
with a machine in front of
Stressful.
you. It's just, you know.
Oh, hold on. Let's see. What do you
Yeah,
have to
Jaffy,
say,
go.
Jaffy?
Thank you. I used to work at Tim Hortons as a cashier, right? So, I would have to do that on the fly. And what they implemented towards my end time at Tim Hortons is you would just punch in the amount of money they gave you, and the till already knows how much money it's worth. It would literally tell you, it would dispense the amount of coins you need into a little cup. You would take the coins, and it would tell you the amount of bills you need. So if you needed, they gave you a $50 bill for some reason. Their order was like $20. It would say, give them back,
5
three
free
tens.
ones and a
Right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It would tell you the number of specific
Literally,
sales to give
and
them back.
I thought it was
Yeah.
fucking ingenious because if you can fuck that up, you don't deserve to work there. Like it's
Well,
And-
that was what I was talking about, though. These are people like that were not just doing this on a whim or to help out or whatever. This was their regular everyday job, and
Right.
if you threw another dollar at them
Right.
to make 21, so you could get a 5, that would just screw them all
Now,
up.
on the reverse
Come
of things,
on.
as a little restoration to the balance of humanity, I've seen my dad do that many times, where the cashier every time is like, "Oh, thank you. Okay, cool. Now I'm handing
Makes
you a
things
5
easier,
instead of 4
yeah.
ones." They're like, "All
I
right."
don't have to count out a bunch of ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him do it where he throws in that extra one, and they're like, "Oh, fuck yeah, here you go. All right," and they're like
Yeah,
genuinely
makes
happy
things
that that
easier.
whole situation got easier.
Well, they're also almost always like short on ones or something like that. So you handing them another one usually is a good thing. But yeah, I can't tell you how many cashiers I've dealt with where they were like, I don't have the change for that. Can you buy something else maybe or
I don't know if you saw the
whatever,
sign at
you know?
Subway, but they don't accept
Yeah.
$50 or $100 bills anymore.
Oh yeah. No, that
And a lot of
yeah,
those
that
places are
absolutely
doing the
makes
same thing the
sense.
consumers are, where they don't have $200 in the register. They don't. That makes them liable
know-
for robbery, and they don't use cash that much.
Yep.
You know, I went into a Subway one time with a group of friends. There was, 5 or 6 of us all getting sandwiches, and the bill was more than $50.
Right.
And we pulled our money, and one of them, one of the guys was paying, and he was paying with a $50 bill plus, and they almost wouldn't take that. And he's like, "It's more than 50. It's not like you're breaking the 50 to give me change.
Right.
You're just putting this directly into the safe. Like, I don't know why you're having trouble with this." But they were like, "Well, it says we can't accept 50s." And he's like, "You want me to hand you, 6 $20 bills? What's happening here?"
That's an excellent point.
And I think at some level, a physical form of cash should always be a thing, but we are definitely in the paperless world already.
Yeah.
I mean, and personally, I'm a very clean person. If I just don't have to handle bills that have touched hundreds of hands that nobody's ever going to wash, sure. And I've done it where I handle money and my hands, you can feel it. I'm like, oh, this is grimier than it was before. Because I'm using my phone all the time. If there's some resistance on that screen, I feel it. I'm like, oh, god damn it. Why'd I even do
Yeah,
that?
this one spent some time in a G-string.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh.
We did when we
No.
got my phone back is we cleaned it off
it's a good. Yeah.
with the hand sanitizer
With
in the
wipes?
car.
No.
Oh
You
yeah,
don't
no.
know where
wipes
she stuck
first.
that to steal it and get it away from you?
Right. First, I wiped it down with a baby wipe, and then I wiped it down with hand sanitizer until I could get home and wipe it down with just pure rubbing alcohol.
Then you put it in your pocket, ran it through the wash, just to make sure.
It's got a waterproof case. Sure, why not?
Oh, that's a thing. Most phones now are waterproof.
Water
Oh,
resistant.
Water resistant.
speaking of running things through the wash and found money, you have no idea how many times when I used to carry cash all the time that I would wash money in my pocket, and because instead of like going through the effort of pulling my wallet out and putting the money in there and then folding it, putting it back, I just tucked the money in there where my wallet was. And then at the end of the day, I get home and I pull the wallet out, not realizing, oh yeah, there's still, $20 in cash in the back pocket where the wallet was. And I'd, end up washing that, a day or two later. And then a few days later, I'd go to put those pants on. And when I'm sticking my wallet in there, I'd be like, oh, wait, there's money in there. Hell yeah.
Growing up,
You know,
we had a policy in the house that I grew up in.
if you found it.
When you were doing laundry, anything under a 20, if you found it, you keep it.
We had an opposite thing where my mom actually praised me once because we had money sitting on the table for like a week, and she was talking to a friend who had a kid who would yoink stuff like that, and I got props that day because I just never did that. And this was not a young wealthy beast. I was just a kid with no money, but I'm like, no, it's not my money. It's $15 on the table, but it's not mine. And
Yeah.
that was it.
I feel like a child again with my grandma living with me in certain aspects because I'll be like, oh, I'm going over to Starbucks. You want me to get anything? Starbucks is like a 3-minute walk, if that. And she'll be like, oh, go get money out of my purse. And I'm like, it's fine, Nani. I have
I can
money on my
afford to
Starbucks.
buy you something. It's okay. Yeah.
I tease my
But
mom
she'll
sometimes.
insist, and there's no arguing with her.
She'd give me
Alright,
like
just
15 bucks for a Subway sandwich, and I'd be like, yeah, you wouldn't believe it. They took it all. And every other time she'd just go with it. But most of
That's
the time
a
she'd be
pickup
like,
fee.
mm-hmm.
All right, that's a pickup fee.
Shame on me. That's money laundering. Yeah. It was unintentional money laundering, though.
Oh, speaking of all this money, I threw like coins in my drawer one time when we first moved in as like one of the only cash purchases I made, and now I just don't have a coin jar. I think the coins are still in there.
That magnetic tray thing for like screws and stuff that I got back when we got the computer stuff, that has a bunch of coins in it right now, and that have been there since the computer got built.
Oh,
Like a
any
pocket full
coins
of
in this
change.
household are automatically claimed by Clark to put in his Ninja Turtle piggy bank. If there's no coins laying around, because if he finds it, he takes it, which is like that's fine, cool, keep it, like, but it's just funny.
That was the most exciting thing as a kid. I counted up all my coins, and man, it was like 20 bucks in there, and I was like, hell yeah. This is like money I literally didn't even know I had. I was all excited.
Yeah.
We did the thing where, you know, you had that big water bottle that everybody threw their change into and everything, and my roommate one time decided, okay, it's time to go empty that out at the coin star and see how much it is. And he grabbed it by the neck and tried to pick it up, and the bottom busted out. Coins went everywhere.
Oh
It was a whole
no.
thing. We ended up like doing Ziploc bags of coins. So yeah, it ended up being like, I don't know, 5 or 6 gallon coin.
Clark has some
bags.
dollar cash, and he feels very special about it, as he should, because at my cousin's wedding, or not my cousin, his cousin's wedding, my nephew's wedding, my brother-in-law gave him a whole bunch of cash, just because. And then for Chinese New Year, we gave him cash because that's how these things work. And so he has like $30 in cash, and he thinks he's the coolest thing. Like, and he had a McDonald's gift card, and we went to McDonald's, and he was like, "Mom, I'll pay." And so I had to like pull a little bit forward so that like the back window was aligned with the
Let him talk to the cashier.
Yeah, let him hands the card, and he was just, oh, he was grinning ear to ear. He was just thought he was cool. Which, I mean, he was.
Speaking of Clark and gifts, the little bubble gun apparently has shown up. I got the video from you that you sent me of him and his little friend playing with them. Where do you have one nearby? Like, I'd like to see it like with you holding it, because I wonder like how big it is compared to your hand. Because looking at Clark holding it, it was obviously like more sized for him.
Right. I will go get it. Just give me a second.
What are you doing, Jaffy? You're posting word of the day: defenestration.
Defenestration.
Defenestration. That's the act of throwing someone out of a window. Yeah.
Oh fuck! I never knew how to pronounce it till just now. Yeah. I discovered that word not too long ago, and I love it so much.
It's funny.
The fact that it has a word for that. Throwing someone out of a window.
It's not being thrown out. It is the act of throwing someone out of a window. Yeah. I mean, I think that was a very popular thing in a lot of like Western TV shows and stuff years ago. Oh yeah, that thing is small. That's funny though.
The little handle is small, but
Yeah.
like that's not too small.
Yeah. And all it really is like that front part comes off and there's a fan in there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Front part comes off and there's a fan in there, and so it's super cute. It's
Yeah,
super cute, and
I
I
thought
didn't
he
know
would
it was going to
enjoy
be two different colors.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of fun because I just gave him like the first one we opened, and then the second one I was like, oh, I got the gold one.
Is the boss level.
Yeah. And then because I opened it while his friend was here, he was like, do I get to play with that one? And I was like,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, good. Yeah.
But yeah, defenestration is the word of the day that Jaffy posted there, and that's the act of throwing someone out of a window.
I think I've heard that
Oh, okay.
before. And the fact that that has a name is the weirdest
That's
thing.
what Jaffy was saying.
Why would you
But
give that a name?
Well, that's what I was compounding
say?
on for a minute there was that I think it was so popular during like westerns and stuff like that to like throw the guy out of a window or throw the guy out through the saloon doors or whatever, that I imagine that might be why it actually has a word for it, is because I mean it says it's humorous. It's formal humorous, the action of throwing someone out of a window. And I just don't know how that became a thing, really. But yeah, it's from the modern Latin finestra.
Okay,
apparently.
of course, yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
Or absolutely.
As you do.
It's that time of the Pokemon season where the season is over for PvP, and they give everybody a bunch of Stardust. It's quite nice.
Oh, it was mentioned during a conversation I was having with Hylian that Pokemon stuff might at some point bring us to Detroit or Chicago or whatever, and he was like, "If you show up in Detroit, I'm buying you dinner." So.
So he's living in Detroit then, I imagine?
He's outside of Detroit, near it, yeah. Or near enough.
Honestly, I'd have a meal with Hylian. He's a fun guy.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
I don't know, he's always just been fun.
I mentioned that to Rosa, and she was like, "Is that Pokemon trip gonna bring you to California?"
Right.
Except for when he's prioritizing his dog over my interests. That makes me upset and unhappy. He did this thing where instead of making my Pokemon pictures for these videos, he like got a puppy and started like feeding it and shit.
Caring about an animal.
How dare he?
Then this asshole, I can't even stand him, gets a job and starts working full time.
And like getting paid really well too.
Asshole.
Disgusting.
What a jerk.
But on Pokemon and phones, I reached out to a friend of mine. Sig's met him, Josh, and I figured if anybody knows which phones like run well on Pokemon, it would be him. And I'm kind of split because I've said this before a lot, where I don't need a new phone. I like my S8 for all practical uses, but I would not mind a phone that runs the game a little bit better. And having two phones would allow me to, like, you know, not completely lose control of my primary communication device while I'm gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I need to answer a call or say something on Discord or just use my phone for anything, I don't have to pause the game. And yeah, that's what Sig's been doing a lot, actually. Whenever he's playing Pokemon, he'll have Discord open on his side screen, and I want to do something like that. But
all that Pokemon I play.
But absolutely.
I don't want to spend $800 on just a phone. So
well, what kind of what service do you have?
Well, that's the thing, is if I got a phone just for Pokemon, it wouldn't need a service. I could just tether it internet to my phone, my other phone, with a data plan.
Yeah. But
I'm still asking what kind of...
I use Verizon.
Okay, then just during holidays, keep an eye out, because sometimes they offer free phones. My sister's phone that I got her, I don't know, was it last year before? I don't know. She got an iPhone X. It was just before Valentine's Day, and it was free.
Damn, just
Yeah,
straight
but
up.
that's like with a plan and stuff, isn't it? Like if you
Yeah.
change your plan
Yeah,
or
but he's
upgrade your
talking
plan.
about.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean, it
talking
was
about
kind of an
buying
off-the-wall question, so he didn't really have a conversation with me. But he did simply write Motorola,
Yeah,
and it's like annoyingly vague. He didn't answer my follow-up question yet, but still, that's enough information for me to be like, okay. And I looked up Motorola phones, and like the first one I saw was like the Motorola G or something, and it was like $200. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's
they make decent phones. Yeah.
yeah. And I know that he's played the game on like I think 4 dozen devices. So like, yeah.
Wow.
So
Yep.
I know that he knows if there's anybody that I have contact with that knows what phone runs the game well for a decent price, it's him. And so he said Motorola. I'll look into it. But I asked him a good follow up, I think, and I was like, does this compare to like flagships or whatever? Because anytime I've ever been with anybody running on an iPhone, the game is just beautiful. I mean, 60 FPS the whole time, the whole event. Their battery outlasts me every time.
You were talking
And
about having difficulty with it, and I was like trying to think, and I was like, what is he talking about? Because I have an iPhone, like I said, and so I don't even what difficulty would you be having with the
well,
game
Big Killer
running?
mentioned in chat. I mean, my S8. Shoot, this came out in 2017, and the
So is it
game
just
has
laggy?
updated a lot since then. And one thing that I have is more of a specific issue is like Bluetooth connection, where I play with that little gotcha device sometimes, and I used it for my sister so we could like catch and spin while we walked, and she didn't have to actually play the game as much. And it was so fast. It processed catching Pokemon like really efficiently and spun stops without any hesitation. Whereas on my phone, sometimes it'll just bench itself
about it.
for 20 minutes at a time. It won't disconnect,
wow.
but it'll just not do anything for. And that is not how that's supposed to work, apparently. And
The only time I have trouble with the spinning stops is if I was connected to the internet and then the internet died.
no, I mean the gotcha device, the Bluetooth connection. The little.
Oh, the clicker.
Yeah, the little
No,
Go
yeah,
Plus.
well, yeah.
The little watch that accompanies the game.
Want one of
I don't have
those.
it because it's. I will grab it just so you can see how I do it.
It looks like a Fitbit.
No, it's
I
because I
Like
have
the
it
little
on
watch
a
thing.
belt loop at this point. So it's one of these things.
Oh.
Yeah.
It'll actually I can turn it on. It just yeah, it'll auto spin and auto catch.
Yeah.
And I
So
put
you
it on
can
my
be
belt
doing
loop
other
because
stuff.
I don't want to physically wear a watch. It's unnecessary. And right down there is super convenient. I don't have to stuff it in a pocket.
I wear a watch. I have
Mhm.
a watch. I love the interconnectivity of Apple products.
Yeah, I looked at smartwatches not that long ago because I was thinking if I did start swimming as a means of exercise, then I'd like something that could keep track of things
Mm-hmm.
that I could wear while swimming or whatever. And like attaching a phone to you while swimming is not really
Right.
something you want.
Plus, a
But,
watch would add like a good amount of added resistance and improve your workout.
Oh yeah, make me work out harder. Yeah, all that slowing down. But no, I genuinely looked at the prices on smartwatches and stuff, and they are far more expensive than I'm willing to spend on a watch.
How much?
Well, just the one watch that I was really looking at, I think it was like the new Samsung watch. It was $170, like at the low end, and that wasn't even the one that was like waterproof. It was just water resistant and stuff like that.
Oh, that's
Mine's
what I
just-
would have expected. Shit.
Yeah.
I was like,
Uh,
what, 8, 9?
Well, no, this is for something I don't
Five.
need.
Right. Okay.
So I'm like, I'm not spending $200.
And I wonder if the
on that,
smartwatches just
sorry.
do way more than you even need them to.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
They really do, for the average person, do way more than they need you to.
Yeah.
And I've always just been kind of like spoiled about it. Like I want one. But now it's actually become a huge asset in my life because we've talked about before and everyone knows I'm chronically ill.
Are you?
And oh,
I don't think
really?
you brought this up before.
Crazy. Um, so when I started having, or when I noticed that I had the really elevated heart rate and I went to the ER for it and whatnot, the doctor was like, "Oh, how far has it, when did it start?" And like,
And you
as
could
far as
track it.
I had noticed, I was like, "Oh, like maybe 2 weeks ago." And then I was like, "You know what? Actually," and I went into my phone and I looked at my pulse records, and it was going back as far as I had the watch. Like it went back like 6 months.
Oh
And I was
wow.
like, oh, apparently this has been an issue for a while.
That's really good.
So,
to know.
So,
Cool story about that, because I suffer from the same thing, like SVT, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so me and Donna have the same issue with our hearts, and I discovered it before I had gotten my watch, my Fitbit. The whole reason I got it was to count my or track my heartbeat, and I actually got my insurance to pay for it.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
that's not
because it
something you
was
hear every day.
the doctor had recommended that I got something like that, and I was like, well, I don't own anything like that. Like
Right.
I have fucking Nixon watches, analog.
Right.
They don't, not even digital. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well go get yourself one of these. So yeah, I fucking got insurance to pay for it, and it was sweet.
Not bad.
Right.
That's that's
That's
another
really
thing about watches that I prefer an analog watch. Like I don't want one that has a digital readout like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I like the look of a digital watch that has an analog face even. But the analog face has always been a thing. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just a throwback to me being old. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You could make it look like an analog face.
Because I hear that and I'm dead. We've had this conversation before. I am dead opposite. I am so
Yeah.
far beyond watches in the modern era.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't even wear a watch anyway because I work in a kitchen, and
Right.
wearing a watch in the kitchen is not really.
Right.
Because
And
that's
see,
to me.
Acorn,
I see a
Acorn
watch.
says that thing that I don't get. Acorn says I can't read the ones with the sticks. He can't read
Oh
an analog
God,
clock.
I had that conversation with a kid. It was kind of cool that he even told me this because I don't know. I got to know him, and he confided in me that he couldn't read a regular clock. Now I'm having this conversation in 8th grade, which isn't the oldest, but by 8th grade, you should know how to read a clock. But smartphones were a thing for that whole time, all of 6th grade and beyond. So I mean, you don't need to know the clock, and the bell's gonna ring when class is over, so you don't
Right.
need to read that one either. Now, I will give credit to our school in that every clock everywhere was the basic white hands, everything. And I had the conversation again in high school. We're talking 12th fucking grade. We're talking, to those who might not be American, 17, 18-year-olds who do not know how to read an analog clock. And I'm like, what?
And see, that's the thing is, I was having that conversation with a coworker who was in her late 20s.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, it's almost 3 o'clock, and pointed at the clock hanging on the wall in the restaurant at my work, and she's a waitress there, and she was just like, oh, I had no idea, and I was like, wait, what?
I know how to read them. It takes me a minute because there's a name for it. But I'm like dyslexic but with numbers.
And that's understandable, but she
Yeah,
just
not with
didn't know how to read a clock. It was
Now-
just
I
like,
know
are
you count
are
by
you
the
kidding me?
fives and the yeah.
Now, it's funny, though,
Like, she
because
was like, I never got it.
my dad will happily tell you about this, sitting me on his knee while we actually have the clock hanging downstairs now where you could rotate the hands on the back, and he'd like spin it around and quiz me a bunch. But
Oh yeah, the kitty ones. Those are
no,
sweet.
no, it was a real clock.
No?
I'll go grab
Oh,
it even.
no.
It's,
There are children's ones. I grew
Yeah.
up. I haven't seen them in forever. I had one growing up. Do you know what I'm talking about, Sig?
Yeah, I had one that was like made of like pasteboard, it felt like, or whatever,
Yeah.
like really old wooden thing.
Yeah,
That you could just
yeah.
move the hands around
Yeah,
on
and
be
you'd
like, what
move the
time is that?
hand, and that's how you were taught as like
Yeah.
as soon as you knew your numbers, how to read a clock.
I guess to those who might not know in chat, if anybody is sort of looking away and kicking the dirt. The little hand is the hour clock, 1 to 12. The big hand is the minute clock, and then you just multiply the number by 5. If the big hand's pointing at 4, that means 20. And then if the little hand's pointing at 3, that's 320. And then you got the dashes in the middle, and you approximate. At that point, we're just guessing. But
what's the middle thing then? The screw that
seconds.
holds them in.
Oh well,
It's
yeah.
the post.
The post. And that's it. Fun fact. I didn't know this for a while. Looked it up as a kid. If you ever have those digital clocks where the colon in the middle is blinking, that's your seconds. It blinks
every
once per second.
Yeah.
Not exactly helpful at all, but there you go. Not useful, but I mean now like on any one of my monitors, I can click this and it'll tell me it is 4:17 and 45 seconds, 46 seconds. Like when it gives you that exact number instantly, I mean, I understand why people don't learn these things. It is outdated. In my opinion, we are in a digital era where we can cheaply, on very low power with batteries that last years, just show the number and skip all the thinking.
You know that thing where people take your pulse and they're like looking at a watch while they're like holding their fingers on your wrist counting?
Yeah.
It took me a disturbingly long time in my life to figure out that I could just wait a full minute, not count the time on the clock and the numbers of your pulse, just count the pulse and wait for the hand to pass the 1 again or pass the 12 again. Don't like watch it and go, okay, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30, and count with it and try to count that, like 2 separate things going on. Just count this and wait.
We've all been there.
It took me a disturbingly long time to do that.
I was watching Avatar last night, and okay, this might have been a continuity error or something, but he was talking about a volcano that exploded 100 miles away, and I could still hear the rumbling. And then he was like there to help him in a shockingly short amount of time. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Even if he was traveling like 100 miles an hour, that would have taken him, an hour. Yeah, it took me like way longer than it should have. But he was riding a dragon, so who the fuck knows how fast a dragon goes? I mean, this is Avatar.
Well, you did better than that girl in the Vine or whatever, that viral video where he was just like, okay, if you're going 80 miles an hour, how long would it take to go 80 miles? And the girl's like, 24 hours? Or some dumb shit like that.
I remember
It'd take you
laughing
at
at
least 3
myself
hours.
last night too. I was like, well,
No.
yeah, 100 miles would take an hour if you're going 100 miles an hour. But I mean, you say it so casually for so long that you forget the whole an hour thing, and
Yeah.
you just.
Well, that was the other thing was that if I got you a large pizza and I cut it into 8 pieces or 6 pieces, and she was like, oh, 6, I couldn't eat 8 pieces.
Oh God.
The whole pizza.
Wasn't he like, you're lucky you're pretty or something?
Yeah, some dumb shit like that, yeah.
I had a funny moment with that last night because I made a pizza. Dad opens the doors. I pick up sister and I get back, and he pokes his head out. It's midnight, by the way, and I just look at him like, "You want a pizza?" No. What? Because I was gonna make a pizza, and he was holding his toothbrush and toothpaste, and then changed his mind because when I finished the pizza, he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take a piece." But I've been doing the thing where Sig and I've been cutting into like 16s or 20 pieces. So I'm like, all right, you can have one, and they're all thin.
Yeah, little tiny.
But nowadays I know how much I'm gonna eat, so I set aside. That's what I was just eating, actually. I set aside 3 pieces, just knowing I'm not gonna finish a whole pizza. And even if I did, I'd feel like shit. I don't need a whole 5 pieces is plenty. 4 even that's enough. That's a full meal. I know my eating habits, and I just thought it was funny. You can have one, and they're all tiny, like a quarter. But it's fun that way. I don't know.
There's a discussion happening in the chat over here about wearing socks on hardwood floor or not socks on hardwood floor, and how it feels weird to be barefoot on hardwood. And they're discussing like the sliding with socks and stuff. And I don't wear socks most of the time. I grew up in a barefoot household. There was, the 3 boys kind of situation where just keeping socks available for us was probably a monumental task. But yeah, we grew up on the Isle of Palms. Like going to the beach every day was a thing. Like losing socks if you wore them with your shoes to the beach or whatever. We just went barefoot from the house to the beach. It wasn't,
Yeah, we run around in the yard barefoot. I'm
So yeah,
guessing they're talking about it because they saw me walking
could be.
out.
Yeah, probably. But it was a very common thing for me all through growing up to just be barefoot doing whatever.
Yeah.
There is a guy in the town that I lived in Charleston, that everybody knows him because he's the guy who just never puts shoes on. Like he'll walk up in the gas station, go into that filthy gas station bathroom or whatever, barefoot, and that
Oh
I could not
no.
do. But yeah,
No.
he's a number of times he's come into the restaurant to have lunch or whatever, and he's been barefoot walking in the front door and gotten turned around. No, no, go get sandals at least, or something. And
I just
there's
imagine the
blood all
manager in the
over my
back
foot.
smelling him. Like, could you tell him to leave?
no, it's not that he smells. It's just that he's barefoot all the time. That's
Yeah. Right.
it. Like he's not a dirty guy really or anything like that. But I know that he's gone in that bathroom at the gas station and stuff, and it's like, nope.
There's two kinds of people that are constantly barefoot. The ones that just live in the woods and are hillbillies, or the ones that live near bodies of water.
Yeah.
So I wear
Guys
socks
who are on boats all the time.
24/7. They come off to sleep and shower. That's it.
Yeah,
And
see, that's
Floors
one
are
of those
not
things that I
dirty.
couldn't
Hold on.
do.
Mateo keeps trying to say that hardwood floors are dirty and cold and he has to wear socks. I live in California. It's 70 degrees right now.
All the
And
time.
and my nanny is OCD and we have a little robotic vacuum that runs like twice a day. You see dust right there because we put up a shelf. Don't mind that. My office is a little dirty. But the rest of the house is super clean. And
Yeah.
like, if your
see-
hardwood floors are so dirty that it gives you dirty feet, go get a mop
I was gonna say,
and
grab a
some
broom.
Something is
water
wrong.
and some
Yeah.
soap.
Akova says
no, I,
hardware is warmer than tile or marble, and while that's probably true,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
it's still a lot colder than carpet. And I think that's a thing where carpet has a lot
Carpet
more
is
friction.
dirtier than hardwood.
Oh yeah, but you'll never know it. And
Yeah.
the thing
I'll
though
know
with
it.
carpet is, I feel like with the friction, you're almost generating the heat with every step, and it retains it a little better. I like
Yeah.
carpet.
Like if it's cold out, I'll wear socks, but
Yeah, it makes sense at times, but not as an all the time thing for me. I
That's
can't.
weird for me to hear, because I guess I've always just had sweaty feet. I can't not wear socks. I will be very physically uncomfortable the whole time, and I gotta.
Let's see.
gotta.
And we're talking about the possibility of the pool being open when we go up there for the vacation stuff. And like I'll walk from the room all the way to the pool without shoes or anything. Like I'm not gonna go to all that
it
extra
depends
effort.
on what the pathway is made out of. Sometimes the concrete is super rough, and my feet are just not prepared for how rough that
Oh
is.
no, yeah. That's the thing is I've got the whole Flintstone feet thing going on. Like I walked on gravel and hot asphalt for going to the beach all the time and stuff like that. So I mean, I got a pretty tough sole
Right.
on my feet.
Oh yeah, the East Coast beaches are terrible. They're not
Mhm.
beaches, they're gravel.
No. They're sand. They're sand. They're just we have dirty water. It's brown water most of the time.
No, it's not sand. I don't know. The North Carolina, we didn't go to the Outer Banks. We went
Some
to
beaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the walking on it, I was like, "What is this?" I'm from California, where we have like, the nice yellow white sand, not
Mhm.
this. North Carolina was literally like slightly smaller than gravel. Like I would use this for like a flower bed,
Mhm.
and it was.
I thought it was funny when our old house, we had carpet everywhere, which I loved because I'm team carpet. And then mom and dad decided wood would be better, and I never really got over it. I've never preferred it. It's louder, it bounces, it's nice to slide, sure, but I'll take carpet. Because when you're trying to get somewhere fast, it'll slide into place. But what it was interesting to me was I gravitated towards the one part of the house that had like thick velvet carpet, and that was my space in the old house. Sig can even attest to that. And the funny thing though is, ironically, I was walking through tile every time. So if my socks weren't on, I felt that. And in the new house, even I went downstairs for the first time ever. Was like, okay, carpeted, good, check. Because upstairs it's all hardwood, and it's carpet all the way into my room, which is perfect. That's
I
what
definitely think
like.
stairs should be carpeted because that's just dangerous, or it needs grippies. But so I'm single story home and it's all hardwood. My doctors recommend me not having carpet because carpet is so dirty and it holds onto those allergens. It just is deep seated in them. And
Mhm.
with the hardwood floors, it's easier to clean because you sweep, or like we have the robotic vacuum, and then we mop like every other day. So it keeps it nice and allergen free for little sickly me.
Takes a lot of effort from humanity to fight the entropy of the universe.
Well, it's not my fault. I'm pretty
No,
sure
that's
my
what I'm
mom
saying.
did
Like
drugs with pregnant with me.
like a mansion. If you hire all the staff that upkeeps a big house,
Mm-hmm.
like it goes to shit pretty quick. And it's interesting how often or how much work humans put in on a daily basis to just keep things normal.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of
There you
effort
go,
that
Rosa.
goes into making zero progress. Because if you stop working, then the floors get icky, and then things start to not be nice.
That is literally the beach I grew up on. That's, the first 5 years of my life were playing on that beach.
He's got me wanting to
So.
Google what a glass beach looks like.
Is that one of the beaches where they crush up glass bottles and then?
Well, where it's essentially become that, yeah.
Raul has
Oh.
gifted 69 subs in the channel. Nice.
Oh, neat. This looks painful to walk on, but neat.
But the white sand or the
No,
glass?
glass beach.
Glass.
Oh, sea glass it's like walking on pebbles. It's not
Yeah,
even.
sea glass would probably be nicer than the beaches in North Carolina, but that is just straight up hard gravel. Sea
Yeah.
glass is like smoothed out stones.
Yeah.
So I can imagine
you have,
glass is like a dangerous idea because everybody thinks they're gonna cut themselves, but now you get it fine enough. I'm sure it's
it's
fine.
not even fine enough.
It's not
just
even fine,
rounded
it's just
because
rounded.
It's been
So
tumbled
it's like
over and
stepping
over
on
and
a
over
bunch of
by
odd
the ocean.
shaped marbles.
The pebbles in the front yard, right out here in the flower bed. As soon as you step off the front porch, it's like that. It's just rounded rocks, like it.
It's all gone.
That still looks painful to walk on.
Your
Well, I mean-
slinky is kinky. Okay.
I literally walked on it the other day to take the trash can out there and rinse it out at the hose because something
made it?
leaked. Huh?
You made it?
I made it? What do you mean?
Yeah, you got through that?
Yeah.
I think Tom Scott made that video on the beach where Legos wash up, and somebody made the comment about it being the most dangerous beach ever.
And that's the other thing is like even that beach, honestly, after, a little while, all those Legos start to get their corners all rounded off and everything from tumbling against each other in the current and stuff all the time. So, really, it should be perfectly
No.
fine.
Well, let's go to a glass beach, and I'll find out for myself. Oh, I was gonna mention with the sock thing, because I wear socks so much, I've always had like a tan line that was just stark. But I am the least tan my legs have ever been right now, because I've had to avoid the sun, and so the tan line's kind of gone. So that was
I
disappointing.
have tan lines for the first time in almost 4 years since I am back in California, and I can actually go outside now. Because for quite a long time I couldn't go outside because I was very allergic to North Carolina. Check out that bad boy!
Watch line.
I am still very, very white, but I'm not as white as I used to be.
Uh-huh.
I still
Oh.
avoid the sun because too much sun is bad for you and sun cancer, but yeah.
Cancer.
So the sea glass beach that I'm looking at here, it's mainly just saying Fort Bragg over and over and over again on all the images on Google Image.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Fort
Fort
Bragg,
Bragg is
California.
inland, isn't it?
No, I don't know. It may just be Fort Bragg, like county. I don't know. But yeah, it's saying Fort Bragg, California is where this glass beach is over and over and over.
Oh, nope. Yep. Never mind. I know where Fort Bragg is.
But I figured, if you're wanting to go to a glass beach, that'll take us to California at least. Which is, a very large state, but still.
No, Fort
Closer.
Bragg is North Carolina. I was right.
It's North Carolina?
Fort Bragg is North Carolina. Fort Bragg, North Carolina is a military institution of the United States Army in North Carolina. I Googled.
Why does this keep saying California?
Is it possible there's two?
Sea Glass Beach, California. Glass Beach, Fort Bragg, California. Like it keeps saying California over and over.
I'm looking it up.
Seems like there's two of them.
I feel like there's two of them, yeah.
We're gonna
I'm
get to
not
the bottom of
seeing the
this.
California one. Military.
I'm not insane. It's there. It says it.
Yeah,
Like,
okay, so
There's a picture.
North Carolina.
I don't think this proves sanity.
I think you're
Plot twist,
photoshopped.
there's
It's like,
3.
I'm very fast at Photoshop.
Maybe there's a beach just called Fort Bragg, and it's not a. I have no idea because I Googled Fort Bragg, California military base, and
Yeah, I didn't say military base.
Oh. God damn it, Benz.
it's not a. You're right. It's not a military base. It is a city in California.
North of San Francisco. Yeah.
It's a historical landmark. It's not actually a base.
Yeah.
What are we learning here?
That Fort Bragg is not necessarily a military base, and that it is in California. I'm not crazy.
You're not crazy,
Not
but
that
I'm not crazy
but
either.
That doesn't make me crazy.
Right, because Fort Bragg, the actual military base, is in North Carolina, but Fort Bragg, the town, is in California. Not on New York. I
Finally
am
we could
crazy.
settle that.
Anyway.
All right.
Yeah. We would be going to California to go to this glass beach if we wanted to go do that.
Come to California.
And Rosa really wants us to come visit.
I love getting visitors.
I want to
Because
travel
I
somewhere.
have a really low, like, social, what's the word I'm looking for?
Circle.
No. Tolerance? I can't be too social for too long. Like, I can't be around too many people actually.
So visitors
physically.
are people that will leave?
Yeah, visitors are perfect because they're only here usually for a couple days and then they go. Donna, I will come smoke all of your weed. Well,
see,
it's
that's the thing, though,
California,
is-
so you could buy a lot of it. You could buy quite a bit of it.
Initially, the visitor thing with Minnesota was going to be a week or so, and now it's been 8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to figure out a plan
For
the perpetuity of the situation.
Yeah, I was talking to Dad Beast about that the other day.
If you go to Cali, I'll go. I'm like 2 hours away. Uh-oh. Yeah, California. I imagine I know a lot of people in California. That's
California's a pretty big place.
Yeah. That's probably why. I need to clean my window
yeah.
too, because after all the rain, now it's like, I don't know. I've got enough rain water stains to block my vision, and I'm not a fan of it.
Oh, it's a really small town. Its population is only 7,273.
It's like 3 times the size of the town I just moved out of.
Benz, I thought we were gonna road trip to Cali and then Hawaii. What was going on there?
You're gonna drive to Hawaii?
No.
No, they're gonna road trip to California, and then from California. Oh, you're being smartass. Okay.
I was not. Oh no, he was. Yeah, no.
I
Benz
was.
and I are gonna road trip, bitch. No, Benz and I were gonna hop on a flight to Cali and then Hawaii. I'm in for that. I want to do it. I want to do something fun and crazy. Didn't you say plane tickets are very cheap? Yeah, let me see.
Yeah, we talked about that last podcast or podcast before, that you guys were going to come out to California for a week or two, and then that you were going to go meet up with the Beast family in Hawaii after.
Yo,
Was that
Beast.
after I left?
I could
It
go
might
to
have.
LA for $150. You're bullshitting me.
Look at
Yeah,
San
you gotta
Diego
look at.
because I don't want to pick you up in LA.
You also got to look at where you're gonna stay while you're there too.
San Diego, for whatever
Uh,
reason, is up to 271.
Okay.
Hotel fare, hotel prices could be like $150
Sig,
a
we're gonna
night.
couch surf. We're gonna download Tinder. We're gonna find random individuals and we're gonna sleep on their couches.
Yeah, I don't do well
When
on
did
Tinder.
you
I
and
don't think
I
that's
end
gonna
up in
happen.
this? I'm in, but when did we get?
Are you good, lady? What, you only want to take like a day? You only want to be in California for a day?
We can get into California and rent a van, Jaffy, and then just sleep in the van.
Oh yeah, that works too.
The funny thing is, these are like round trip tickets. I kind of want to,
One way?
Open ended.
yeah, one way, then hop to Hawaii as well. Make a whole
You just have
thing
to
out of it.
click one way. If you're just Googling,
Oh.
there's a button that says one way.
But you can
Oh.
do a round trip ticket from here to California to Hawaii with with a stop in California for 4 days if you wanted. Like they allow for that. You can make plans to do that, and it still be a round trip ticket.
Yeah, Yoltrons, drop that link in chat. From Minnesota to Cali for $19. That doesn't sound real.
Yeah, no, that's
Kind
not
of
real.
suspiciously low. It's probably one of those ones where you're taking a package for someone.
Yeah, are you sure that's shipping for a human?
Well, you didn't say it had to be human. You could box yourself up and ship yourself to California.
Ben said he flew to Florida for $9. Okay, I need to figure out the ways here.
Well, during the height of the COVID stuff that was going on, I was looking at plane ticket prices. It was $59 total for me to fly from Charleston to
That's
Boston and Boston to Minnesota. It was $59 total during that
crap.
time.
That's
When,
insane.
For us, it was like $400 round trip to go to Japan and back.
Yeah.
It was absurdly cheap. Like
I-
that fucking right now it's probably over $1,000, but I was so close to booking a flight.
Yeah. I mean,
Sense.
from Charleston to Boston was what, a 2.5 hour flight or 3 hour flight or some shit.
Uh-huh.
And I for that price, I could have made a day trip out of it. Just fly to Boston to go have dinner, like.
COVID,
I-
that's why I was trying to convince them to come here because they could couch crash.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sounds like a bus ride. A bus ride is, yeah, that's the $19 thing probably.
Mm. I like
Be
that
sure to
hotels is
making
the
it look
second
like I have
recommended
camel toe,
Google
but I
search.
swear to God I do not.
Well, we could go to the Hilton for $145 a night. I have an outdoor pool and a spa.
Yeah, $145 a night. That's the cost of the flight every night. You're not
Holiday
flying the
Inn's
right air dye.
120. Can I just sort by price? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
There we go.
Motel, hotel.
you're looking at like
Oh,
Motel
This is
6
where I
and
get
stuff like that.
scared because some of these
What
are
town are
23
you
bucks a
looking at?
night. But based on the imagery, it looks like the quality went way down.
What
Oh, yeah.
town are you looking at?
San Diego.
Oh, so some of those really cheap ones are they're almost like hostels.
Mhm.
So you get a room, but it's like a shared bathroom.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
that
have
scares me.
they have some very Fleabag motels around also that you can find rooms at that are not as bad as they seem, but I wouldn't trust it.
Because the ones at 145 were like, damn, these look nice. And the ones that are 20, I'm like, oh, okay, there's got to be a middle ground here.
See, the great thing about a $20 a night motel room is the lowered expectations.
That
Because
too.
when you're paying $150 a night for a room and something is not right, you're like, motherfucker. But when you're paying 20 and something's not right, you're like, yep, saw that coming.
And I mean, I, on the one hand, I like to imagine if we're being good tourists, then we shouldn't be spending too much time in the hotel at all. But at the same time, I want something I'm a little excited to get back to at the end of the night. I want something nice.
But you also want the security of knowing that you're not in some motel where people get robbed constantly.
Yeah, some of these are 2 or
Right.
3 star hotels, and I'm like, yeah, I can do better than this. Plus, I mean, if I'm
And
going with Ben's, we can get a shared room.
Also-
like, we only need one bed.
Also, Airbnb is a thing.
This
For my
place is
9 days in
Airbnb
Boston, it was
Yeah.
like $700 or something.
Airbnb isn't always cheaper in San
Sort by
Diego.
highest rating. Oh,
Oh,
California.
not always
Dreams,
cheaper,
$100
but it
a
is an
month.
option.
Oh, this place is only $700 a month, or a day. Sorry.
700 a day.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts. You're trying to. Okay, I was typing. We need 2 beds. What, Ben? You don't want to share a bed with me? We get a cheap price for that.
It's probably about the same, I feel.
I
Yeah,
don't
they're
know.
usually the same price. Maybe
Yeah.
$10 difference.
Holy.
Speaking of all this travel stuff, my mother made mention the other day of possibly coming up to Minnesota to visit, and I look forward to that in a way, but at the same time, I don't know how it's all going to work out because I don't have my own vehicle. And
Right.
my mom was like, "Oh, well, my cousin or your cousin and I would come up and visit, and we'd just get a hotel room, and you come stay in the hotel room with us for the week." And I was like, "I don't know about that." Because I like having my computer and all that, not sitting in a hotel room with you, you know,
Right.
that kind of thing. But also, I'd have to work and stuff like that, and it's like you're gonna have to find ways to occupy yourself while I'm at work during that week. You know, it's just kind of a thing that the logistics are a little weird.
This
But
5-star hotel is like
I'd like to be able to see my
$13.53, and
mom.
I'm like, a night? That's like the budget for the whole trip. A night.
How much?
$13.53.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh. I someday want to just
Be able to splurge
not-
on something like that.
not care about the price.
Yeah.
We're not
Right.
quite there, but I'm not doing 1300. That's
Yeah.
no. It looks like we can get. This is a 5-star hotel. The Hotel Lucerna Tijuana. I'm sure I'm butchering that. 138. That's not
In
bad.
Tijuana? You're going to Tijuana?
I don't know. I'm looking at a bunch of hotels. It looks really nice, even though I'm only
You
looking
don't
at
want to
one
go to
image.
Tijuana.
It's
you
really
don't wanna
nice.
go
It's
to
got a
Tijuana.
pool and everything.
No going to TJ.
Look at this. We get
Look,
cus-
Raul was like, don't go to TJ.
Bins.
Is that bad? I don't know.
TJ's rough
Tijuana?
right now.
Yeah, Tijuana's not.
TJ's, yeah.
That I don't understand. Am I gonna get shot
Prison
here?
low. Yeah.
Yes. Or you're going to get kidnapped and ransomed back to your family, but you're going to be maybe a finger or an ear or some sort of appendage short.
Yeah, because
There's
to them
3,000
you're an
excellent
affluent white
reviews.
male.
Yeah, you're an affluent white male. Exactly.
You are a payday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Or even the children rob you.
Yeah.
Fuck. Alrighty then. What if
You're
I
a crowd
spray
of 5.
paint?
That's not how it works.
Even Raul was like,
against-
don't go to TJ.
Ben,
now."
Exactly.
that's not okay.
Unless you are fluent in Spanish. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
No,
Alright. Glad I brought it up.
don't just go off on a whim to Tijuana.
God damn.
Yeah.
Now he said right now. Is there something happening?
It's been getting progressively worse over the years. So by right now, he just means it's at the worst it's been. But that doesn't mean it can't get worse.
Oh wait, what the fuck? This black line. Is this in Mexico?
Yeah.
It might be. If you're looking for hotels in San Diego and you've like looked for a certain price,
Yeah, I'm
it's
pretty
gonna
sure this
give you
black line
what's
is the
near.
border. Why is it showing me hotels in Mexico?
Because it's touching California.
I see it now. Wow.
That's Tijuana. Tijuana's Mexico.
This isn't anything private. I can show this on the stream. Look, this is what I was looking at, chat. Like, I got all these hotels just open.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wait, Tijuana, is that... What's this black line? Oh, shit, that's the border. Okay, I'm not going to Mexico for a hotel. Hey, you guys want to see that 1300 one I was talking about? I lost it. There it is. This is fun. Just to look at all these. Did some research on the $19 flight, and it's one way from Minnesota to California. It's more expensive for round trip or going to California or Minnesota. That's all stuff I assumed. I asked for a link. I want to see what a $19 flight looks
I
like.
assume it's also no baggage at all whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
was
just-
baggage is going to be like $50.
Did I tell you about my seatmate, the guy sitting next to me on the flight from Boston to Minnesota? Like the whole flight, he didn't say a word. He had a
Oh, yeah.
book, and I don't think he had luggage. Like it was just a, I don't know, early 20s
Really?
guy, book. That's it. Like he was the best seatmate I've ever had in my history of flying ever. He didn't say a word the whole flight.
I'm the opposite.
like
I figure I don't want someone who's too chatty, but I'd be awkward if they didn't say a word.
Right.
Well, I had my little tablet computer thing open watching a TV show. So, I mean, I would have been annoyed if he'd have tried to talk to me the whole time or whatever,
Yeah.
I was watching shows.
Last time I was
A
on a
lot
flight,
of
we talked
major-
to a lady who, it turns out she was an author. So that got kind of interesting quick. Anyway.
So Ben said the last time he was on a plane, he got drunk for the first time in the sky. A lot of major airplanes right this second, and like in the last week or so, are pulling alcohol from their flights after a drunk patron beat a flight attendant so bad that she lost her two front teeth, or like two teeth, I don't know. Just violently attacked her because she asked her to put her seatbelt on or something like that.
All right. So you know how pirates would ask you to walk the plank? I think they should do that for airplanes for people like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Well, I mean, I don't think pirates asked you to walk the plank.
Okay, they enforced you to walk. I think they should get a plank on airplanes, and when there's something like that, they should be forced to
Put them in the
exit the
airlock.
plane. Yeah.
It reminds me of one of those pitch meetings where I was watching. There was a movie where they took the one parachute and he stopped him for a second. He was like, wait, on a military cargo plane, they had one parachute? And he's like, yup, that's what we're going with. He's like, okay, that works. And when you're home, I love it when movies pull shit like that. You're like, wait, if you stop for even a second, a military cargo plane had one parachute. The fuck? Wait, you wrote that into the script. You had one. Okay.
I've thought about that over the years. Every time I've ever seen that, it would be really nice to see the guy throwing other parachutes just out the door first. Being like, there was 5, there's not now. I've got the only one. That would make sense, and it would be great. And you'd be like, holy shit, okay, I'm in. You wouldn't do that whole moment of, how's there only one? Because I do that every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that'd be a great addition to an action movie or something, showing the guy throwing parachutes out of the plane first.
It's like what I did with the Avatar yesterday. I was like, wait, you heard the sound 100 miles away while a volcano was exploding
Right.
and made it in time to help. Okay.
Like you said, he's
Whatever.
riding a dragon, so.
I mean, it makes it for an epic story in the Avatar universe, but if you really think about a 100-mile flight, I'm like, holy, you had to have
His
booked it.
faith, this thing as he's headed
You go
for
1,000 miles an hour, you'll be there in 6 minutes. That's fast as fuck. But again, he was riding a dragon, so who am I to say how fast that
just fuck
was?
boy.
Plus, we are listening. We're hearing this story as written in a scroll in the show, being read by a character. So maybe 100 miles was an exaggeration. I mean, I
To be
don't know.
fair, the Japanese bullet trains go 200 miles per hour. So I think a mystical dragon could go way faster than that.
I mean,
Yeah, but could you hold on?
I
Well,
could if I was the
sure.
Avatar.
Well, he wasn't.
go.
No, this was Fire Lord Sozin helping Avatar Roku. But also in the thing where he said 100 miles away, he could also see the explosion, which I don't know if
Oh,
those of you who know
he's
how
ready.
far away the horizon is, but generally anything 2.5 miles or more, you're not seeing. So
Yeah, I thought the farthest you
He's
could
probably like
possibly
10
see
miles
with the
away, and he's like, "Oh, it's 100."
I thought the farthest you could see with the curvature of the Earth was like 7.5 miles.
it
or
might
something.
be. I don't know.
That's why I was saying like 10 miles away, so you could see the explosion, but you can't see the mountain.
Mhm.
But maybe that was just art. So now you got two things that don't add up. He can see it, but it's it's 10 times further away than he would have been able to see. So either they're exaggerating the distance for the story, or they're showing something he couldn't have possibly seen for the story. And
You
at
know,
that
and also,
point,
if it
you
was-
need to shut the fuck up and realize that none of this is important to the story that's being told. And that's what I do
Also,
when I watch these.
if he heard it and saw it, he was not going to get there in time to do anything to help. The seeing it happened way after hearing it, I'm sure.
No, he was looking at
Or,
it
no,
while
the
he
other
was...
way. The other way. Hearing
No.
it happened way after seeing it.
No, hearing it
Because,
is what alerted
light
him.
travels much faster than sound.
Bro,
Hashtag they did the math.
But, I mean, I don't know. It's, you know, in the context of Avatar Roku's death scene while he's fighting volcanoes, how fast his friend, well, how fast the Fire Lord got there is irrelevant. I want to call
Still
him his
screws me
friend,
up.
but when you let your friend die in the volcano, you're not really a good guy anymore, so, yeah.
It
And I know
still
that I'm-
screws me up every time you say Avatar because all I can think is the blockbuster movie with Jake Sully and stuff. Like, I
Okay,
don't think of
you are
Avatar like
just
the
the worst
Last
kind of
Airbender
person.
because
And I know I'm talking
Dare you.
spoilers, but when the show ended 17 years ago,
Yeah.
you
I don't like that. Don't say that.
Avatar Last Airbender final episode. Let me oh my god, this is what made me watch this show. It was mentioned in passing on a Drew Gooden video as like one of the top shows of all time, and I was like, bullshit. If you go to the IMDb highest rated shows of all time, Avatar at the time was number 13, but it's floated up there for a while. And if you look it up, IMDb, it's 9.3. You know how hard it is to get hundreds of thousands of people on the internet to give anything a 9.3 out of 10?
to agree on anything.
Yeah. Rotten
Right,
Tomatoes
agree
is a
on anything.
97%. Rotten Tomatoes is
Yeah.
brutal. 97% means it's good. Like they rip shows apart. The only shows I've seen that are that high are like Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones before season 8. Like shows don't get rated that high. That's what made me rewatch Avatar. I was like, oh, that's just a kids show. I don't want to do it. And then I saw the rating was like, okay, let's give it a shot.
Do it.
I
Yeah.
mean, the last episode was in 2005, so I guess it's wrapped up by now.
Guys,
Take
it
very
is
good work.
10 minutes till we're ending the podcast anyway, but I really need to use the restroom and I have to get ready to go.
Yep.
So I have to leave for work. Have fun. See you next time.
Bye, Sig.
Bye.
Even crazier yet, Breaking Bad has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, one less than Avatar, which means Avatar's a better show.
No.
No, I mean the world has spoken. You're outvoted.
No.
And then a 9.4 on IMDb, which is, and I trust these because IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes are user input. These are not critic ratings. These are, let me see. I'm just going to click this quick and see what it says. IMDb, this is out of 1.5 million ratings. They've averaged a 9.4. That's, if that doesn't sell a show, then I really don't know what does. If you have a vagina,
looks
Avatar
different?
is better. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
I don't. I'm trying to figure out what that even refers to. I don't get it. Maybe he means like the movie, like Avatar: The Blue People. I don't know. Those two shows are named too similar. You've got Avatar and Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it's like, huh. So Game of Thrones.
90% of the time when people are referring to Avatar, they're referring to The Last Airbender. Because even though Avatar, The Blue People was like the highest grossing film or whatever, give me one quote from it. Give me one quote from it.
Okay.
All anybody
I hate
ever
it when
talks
people
about
bring
is
that
the
up.
weird hair sex.
I hate it when people bring that up because as a person who's extremely biased and loves that movie, it's not a movie that banks on its dialogue, okay?
Yeah. So it's not much to talk about. You're like, oh, it was so
Right.
pretty. Okay, what?
It's a very
and
pretty
then-
universe with a very powerful story, and they actions speak a lot louder than words in a lot of the situations.
was a really digitalized Fern Gully.
It's like the love scenes with the lady, like they don't speak much at all. They just sort of attach their hair together and you just figure it out. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember I heard that quote thing and then went and watched the movie and was like, yeah, no, I mean, it's not a movie that... Okay, so Game of Thrones, even after Season 8, even on Season 8, has the first few episodes as a 7.5, 7.8, 7.4. And then this is where fans were like, the fuck? 5.4, 5.9, the final episode's a 4.0. People were like bombing the ratings because it was bad. I mean...
It was bad.
But the whole show
Waiting-
maintained an average of 9.3. And that's where, like, I'll argue... It's not leading to anything, so it might be worth a skip. But if you just want a good thing to watch... Oh, man, some of these episodes have 9.9 out of 10s. Season 6, episode 9 and 10. Like, that's nuts to think that anything can be that close to a 10 out of 10.
E-Bear, it's okay if you didn't watch Game of Thrones. If you choose to, only watch like the first like 6 seasons and then just the rest of them don't exist. Fill in the blanks in your head. Because most of the things don't even get like a finish to them, so you just go ahead and make up what you want. So just watch the first 6 seasons.
I love the demographics. Male, female, everybody combined at 9.9. Like, everybody loved this.
Yeah, Jaffy, what are you doing? What are you thinking about? You have the
What's
mic.
going on?
I don't watch any of the shows you guys are talking about, so I don't have an opinion.
Okay. Yeah, no, so these shows, like, after 194,000 votes, it averaged a 9.9. Like, that's
Fucked up my lipstick.
nuts.
Did
I
you
like
just
it when
call me
they're-
a wet stick?
I like it when there's data, because people argue about shows day and night, but these are simple in my opinion. You got a 1 out of 10, and anybody can vote, and the world has spoken. Stranger Things, really? Yeah, 8.9, 8.7, 90% rating. Yeah, if you guys ever are looking for good shows, just go to like the IMDb top-rated TV shows, and they're pretty...
You need to watch Stranger Things. I watched the very first
You
season.
haven't
I keep
seen
meaning
them?
to.
I haven't
Just the
either.
first season.
Was a fake article. Dun dun dun. We knew that from the beginning, Ultrons. It's so cheap because it doesn't leave the state. Yeah, Ultrons, that's what I figured. Well, as soon as I heard $19, I'm like, bullshit. There's no way.
Yes,
But-
Benz, you and I are total twinsies. We look exactly alike.
Dexter coming back in September. Bullshit.
Isn't it about like his sister becoming the serial killer now? Because
How Deb can return in season 9 as the new Harry. Is Dexter coming back? Took surprise when it was announced in 2020. Well, that's exciting. We'll be back for the limited series. Okay, so what, are they just gonna do like a 10 episode?
Thing.
Why did Dexter kill Deb? And then the only thing I didn't want was for Dexter to... I don't remember if she dies or not. That was so long ago. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've actually never watched a single episode of Dexter.
Bull...
Nor have
shit.
I.
Well,
I
we
feel
need to
like,
change that.
yeah, I feel like Beast is about to disown us.
Beast, I don't like blood. Like, I don't fuck with those shows. I don't.
Oh, if you don't like blood,
don't-
you would
would
love
you?
Dexter.
I've literally, like, the fucking, the thumbnail for the show is what I'm gonna call it, is literally like some dude with blood everywhere. Like,
He's a
Fuck
blood
the
spatter
hell?
analysis and a
Speaking of
serial
blood-
killer who trophies his kills by putting their blood on a like a little flat thing that you put under a microscope. Like
A slide. I think they're
a
just called
slide. Yeah,
slides.
it's like that show has more blood glorification than anything I've ever seen. I think the music is what does it for me. Like, it's a really well-made show. And I've needed a rewatch. So I think the three of us should make weekly appointments and bust that out.
Beast, no.
Phrasing. Phrasing.
What? Oh.
Phrasing.
Enjoyed watching them make crack on Breaking Bad. I'm sure you did, Benz. I'm sure you did.
It looks like I'm making crack in my office here because of my craft desk. I have all these like bottles and vials of things, and then I have a pressure pot and then a vacuum chamber. So there's like a motor and like two giant silver pots, and it's great. It's great.
Were you making dice?
I was.
Wow, do you like how I just knew that just from the pressure pot? Nah.
Yeah, because why else do you need a pressure pot in like
Well, like, I don't know, not many people would have guessed that, so I'm proud of myself.
you should be. I make really pretty.
Jaffy, did you
dice.
see my posts of movies and shows?
No.
I wrote a list of like 54 of my favorite TV shows. And I expect you to watch all of them now, so.
Okay, fucking so many text channels.
No, it's movies and shows. You just scroll down to it.
I fucking couldn't find it, you bitch.
It's in the main block.
Okay, I found it now. Alright, now I gotta filter by beast.
It's like just scroll up from the bottom. It's right there.
No!
You kidding me? I think I could post it in Twitch. Oh, no, it wouldn't work well. No, it does
Scroll
that
up
cool
from the-
thing on Discord now where you can post a text file and it embeds.
Is it before or after you tagged me 97
Go to
fucking
movies
times?
and shows. Just scroll up like I see it without even scrolling up.
Oh, it's that stupid ass fucking embedded text thing. I forgot all of. Alright. American Dad, that's
Pressure
one of your
cookie.
favorites?
It was good. I watched them all one time when I was redoing our witch farms.
That doesn't, I don't know, like American Dad, Family Guy, those, to me, those are the kind of shows, yeah, they're good, and I'm gonna watch them always, but like they're not my favorite shows.
This is a list of 54. You can imagine it's not a very condensed list. All right, buddy?
Alright,
This
alright.
is literally every show I've ever enjoyed that I can remember. I left
You're
out
missing-
SpongeBob, though.
There are a couple, but I feel like, you know, you're not watching enough.
That's kind of why I
Right.
did it, was I wanted to, like, have a list of stuff I've watched.
I used to do that. I had a list, but then I fucking reset my hard drive on accident one day, and now it's gone.
How do you do that on accident? Oh my god.
Well, I was switching motherboards, and my hard drive, my M.2 was having issues with switching hard drive or motherboards, so I had to wipe it.
You know, and there's a lot of stuff like limited series. Like Psycho was a really
Yeah.
good show, but it's 10 episodes and there's nothing coming after it. And that makes for a really awkward situation where it's like, yeah, if you guys want a 10 episode show on Netflix, Psycho is really interesting, but it's one and done. It's really playing out closer to like a 9-hour movie rather than an actual TV show, which works.
I prefer they do that rather than pump it out in a 2-hour movie and just fucking butcher it.
Yeah, and I think we need a new term for some of these shows, because I feel like TV shows are meant to be longer running things, but like I said, Netflix is doing a lot of these limited series that are essentially 10-part movies, which is a fantastic watch, but it doesn't really... that's not season 1. There's never going to be a season 2. We need a better term for all this stuff, but I don't have an idea. But yeah, that stuff, you know, because I have like that movie list, which I don't update, by the way.
Yeah.
Chris took those, or I sent him those screenshots a very long time ago, and when did that get pinned? 2019? I have not added hardly anything to that list, and I have seen movies since then. But it's more of a jumping off point. Like, it's... if anybody wants some movie recommendations, I've got like 84 of them, and you can work from there.
Work.
And I think that's a playlist, because it's... I wonder how many hours that is. Let me go see. It'll tell me.
So anybody who watches this stream, doesn't just listen, knows that I'm super fucking fidgety. Because ADHD.
Yeah, it's 83 movies and 6 days long.
Excuse
You have to
me,
check your list.
sir.
Yeah, it's
I
pinned
was
in
talk-
movies and shows. But yeah, I mean, there are varying
Rude.
degrees of shows on here. Like, it's funny how Avatar: Last Airbender is just mixed in there with American Dad. I got two very different perspectives from those shows. Like even Z Nation's on here. It's not a serious show that you should watch, but I thought it was fun. I mean, whatever. But a lot of these shows I watched 6 years ago while doing Minecraft projects. So when Minecraft is upholding like the other half of your attention, some pretty bad shows can be interesting enough.
I agree completely. I have watched a lot of bad shows just because I've literally had nothing else to do or nothing else for background noise, and I was playing a game or doing something else.
Yeah. So Netflix has this thing where if you like finish
love
a
this.
series, sometimes it auto plays something that's like semi-related. And I've sat through so many bad shows because I was crafting and I didn't want to get up to change the show, so I was just like, yeah, all right.
Get up. What were you?
I said I was crafting, so like I had gloves on my hands, like I said it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean crafting? Just pick them up off the ground so they don't despawn and then tab out. Like, what? I'm so confused.
Oh my fucking god.
No.
Well, I was talking about
crafting
Minecraft.
Yeah. Yeah, no, in real life. So like I'll like have hands full of resin and I don't want to take my gloves off.
Yep.
And yeah. And so I'll just be like, all right, this is what we're watching now.
That happened to me with PvP. I was in the middle of a battle in Pokemon. Then YouTube auto-played something, and I was like, well, I wasn't interested in scammers, but that's happening now. I guess this is happening.
This is happening.
And honestly, I binge-watched a lot of those videos that day. I found Pleasant Green on accident. It was just forced upon me, and he's actually kind of a fun channel. Because he goes in deep. Like, he meets these scammers, some of them, and works with them and learns their stories. I was like, holy shit. Wow. But, yeah, no, I wanted to make an organized list of all that stuff. And there was this golden combination where I was really into Minecraft, had a second monitor, had lots of free time in between school, and wasn't making YouTube videos yet. So I had all the free time. I was too tired from school to be doing anything other than just playing Minecraft. So I got through a lot of TV shows, and some of them were good. Some of them weren't. Like, I remember I watched Burn Notice, and I remember it being good enough, but I don't remember much about
specific things
at all.
I remember Fiona being kind of bitchy. That's all.
She was the Irish chick with the very large... She was... Well, I guess it was
personality.
What?
Very large personality.
Right. Yes. Yes. But I think it was like a Florida show, so I mean, she was in a tank top in every other scene. That's all I remember. Because again, playing Minecraft half the time, I wasn't really... I don't even remember what happens in Burn Notice. Like, it's a spy that gets burned, and then he lives his life trying to get around that. And they somehow
or something? Yeah.
They somehow squeeze like 5 seasons out of it. Let me look this up. How many seasons did they make? See, look, I mean, it's got like an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm sure it actually was a good show, but man, I watched it so damn long ago. I don't even know.
Right.
Michael Weston. That's a name that rings a bell. More precisely, his career as a spy ends when he gets a burn notice, covert equivalent of a pink slip. Stuck in his hometown of Miami, he intends to find out who did it and why. And
dun dun dun!
Yeah. Number of episodes
guys,
is 111.
We're over time.
Yeah. Yeah, they made it to season 7. That aired until 2013.
I gotta go. So... Yeah, are you guys gonna still chill? Should I give my goodbyes?
Now I'm wondering if I should rewatch Burn Notice. Shit.
Please quit interrupting her. Jesus.
Yeah,
well, she's trying to end the show, so if I don't stop talking, then it'll go on forever, right?
She's just gonna leave eventually.
Yeah,
I'll call it.
I have shit to do.
We can get out of here. Minerva Podcast, episode 78.
Adios.